Welcome back to the channel, guys. How's it going? Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video. I hope you're feeling fantastic today. And if that's the case, you know what to do. Pass that on, help the next person feel just as good as you are. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I like to start sometimes by saying, I don't know what I'm doing, I've never done this before, or I wonder if this will work. Now, granted, a lot of times I'm just being funny and that's for entertainment purposes. But in this video, I am truly out of my depth because I will be dealing with electrical. Let's go. Let me show you what I mean, because I am completely sick and tired of this happening every time that I start the car. Check brake lights, side lights, rear lights, front fog lamps, and so on and so forth. I've already started working on this, and this is what I kind of found so far. I found that it has been wired for LEDs because this is a load resistor, I believe, load equalizer, which basically gets installed whenever you are going to move over from an incandescent bulb to an LED bulb. And that's because these draw a lower, I think they have a lower resistance to it. So anyway, I think the car ends up thinking that your bulb is burnt out. So then by adding this, you kind of equalize the signal that the car is receiving or something or other. Anyway, but so the funny thing is that it's done on this side, it's also done on this other side, but it still would give me the hyper flash once in a while. So this has already also been wired, and I use the word has been wired very loosely, like these connections here, for LED operation. So it has this, but it has an incandescent bulb. So I don't know why the hell or who at some point decided that they couldn't even afford to replace the LED bulb with another LED bulb. And there is something like loose or rattly in here. That's the problem right there. I don't know how that happened, but I lost the entire bulb. Cool. Let me see if I can get that out. Yay. So I have an LED brake light, and everything else is incandescent, but the blinker is the one that has the load equalizer in it. I'm just going to fix this. I could just take this whole thing off. I probably should just take this whole thing off and just call it a day. Do I really need LED blinkers on the rear? Do you? Do I? Does anyone? I decided that I really don't care for LED turn signals. As much as I want to like make the car look better, honestly, I think it's quite adequate the way that it came from the factory. I think the standard bulbs on here work perfectly fine. And just to do kind of like a little demonstration of this, so this is the load equalizer that was on this side. I actually took it completely off, and I'm gonna run the hazards right now, and I'm gonna see if this side is brighter and if this side is dimmer. Now I'm running incandescent bulbs on both here, but this one still has the load equalizer and this one does not. I also removed the LED on this side. So this LED was for the brake light, because I also want to see what the difference is between the LED brake light and a regular brake light. Again, this has now a 27 watt bulb, so it's a little bit brighter, and this one has an LED, which is this one on this side. So this one still has it installed. So I'm gonna be pressing on the brakes, and you guys see for yourselves what it looks like. one thing I wanted to point out earlier, and I'm not sure if the original OEM taillights had this, but on these ones, it actually shows PY21W, P21/5W, and basically what you're seeing here is it tells you whether the bulb that goes in there is a single filament or double filament, so either a single action or dual action bulb. For example, a single action bulb would be something like your reverse lights, because it only has one setting, one brightness. In this case, it's going to be 21 watt, but a double filament bulb has two actions, so when it's dimmer, has the dim setting of 5 watts, and then when it gets brighter is 21 watts. The car is also throwing a license plate light error code on the dash. Now, they're both working just fine, so I'm not gonna do anything about that. Again, it's because it's an LED light instead of the original bulb. Welcome to a brand new day. I now have no error messages except the check license plate light, because again, those are LEDs. The check side lights, again, the side markers are LEDs, and I did replace them because one of them was burnt. And the check front fog lamps, which I haven't looked at the fog lamps at all since I bought the car, so it's as good as time as any. I'm gonna get down there, jack up the car, and see what we have. Hopefully, it's super easy. I don't necessarily have to get under the car for this, but I just like to have a little bit more room to work with. So that's why I usually jack up the car whenever I'm gonna be working on the front, especially something like the fog lights. They're so close to the ground that, you know, it's a pain. Let's see, what's the problem? Well, the problem is they're not even plugged in. What is going on here? Where's the wire? Oh, it's right here. Okay, well, that might just be the problem right there. I don't think it was plugged in at all. I think the LEDs will throw a code as well. I mean, they were throwing a code right now because I think they're both burnt out. So I think I'm just gonna get regular ones, and hopefully they don't look too yellowish. Again, the whole LED thing means that I have to get a load resistor and cut into the wiring harness, which I don't know if I wanna do that right now. So let's just get the regular stock ones. So I went to AutoZone and got the Sylvania Silver Star for the fog lights, they're H3s. And then when I came back and tried to put it back together, everything kind of fell apart. This is where the ground wire was connected to, it fell off of here. And then these little pins, which I didn't even know, they just come off. So when I was trying to plug in the connector on this side, it pushed the pins out and then everything fell off. So now I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or if it's just old, or if I can just push it back in. Like I said, guys, I don't know about electrical. It's a headache. So the problem that I find myself having right now is dealing with these pins right here. I don't know if you can see them on camera, but these two pins right here, they're just impossible to get into this socket or through the connector if I have this cap. So this end cap has those two holes right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, probably all blurry, but those two holes right there is where these pins are supposed to go. But if they're on there, I cannot put the connector in there. It keeps pushing the pins out, but at least I know it works right now. So that's a plus. Now I just gotta figure out maybe some lube, maybe just gotta lubricate it or something. I figured out the problem with the end cap. So the problem that I was having is that these two holes right here, I wasn't able to get the connector plugged in, and that's because they don't actually line up. These don't line up to the connector pins, which is a pain in the butt. So this is what I ended up doing. Just grabbed a drill and poked a big old hole through it. So now I'm going to connect the connectors individually. Nothing that a little drill action couldn't fix. I finally finished the fog lights. I gotta say, that was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. It was a lot more difficult than my abilities told me it would be. The problem with the fog lights is everything is so old and brittle that it's just falling apart. The wiring was just coming undone. And it's just very, very fragile. I think that's it. Let's see how many error messages I have left. All right, the car's on, of course. I need gas, as usual. Yeah, that's a thing. All right, here we go. Check side lights. Check license plate light. That's also an LED. That's it.
I'm so in love with you. You got me down again.